Hello and welcome to Benjafield & Baker. Today we've managed to blag ourselves 3 cars. The MG GS, the Mitsubishi ASX and the Subaru XV.
They're all crossovers, all the big manufacturers are making them at the moment. We thought we'd get hold of them, give them a test, see what we think.
So, first off, the Subaru, 147 brake horsepower and 350 Newton meters of torque. On paper, it's not the fastest out of the 3, but on the road, this eats the other 2 alive.
Yeah, in real life, this
Doesn't
thing
it?
is just it's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah,
completely.
it's so torquey. The engine's good, but the sound it makes isn't good.
It's very agricultural.
While we're talking about the engine then, the clutch is super duper light. The gears, I mean the gear lever doesn't feel particularly robust as the rest of the car does.
Do you not think?
No, it feels a bit it feels like the connection inside is plastic as opposed to like gated metal.
Talking of funny feelings, I think the handbrake in this one feels a bit,
Yeah, the handbrake's in the way. I don't like where that is.
bit of a funny old place.
So the quality in the Subaru, it may as well specifically be designed for farmers. Everything is really robust, the switches are really chunky, and they say that the average Subaru will travel the equivalent of 8 times around the world.
I think that's, you can feel the build quality as soon as you drive it. It's just solid. Oh my god.
It's good through the Fords. 4-wheel drive for the win.
4-wheel drive.
So this is the only one out of the 3 today that we've got in 4-wheel drive. All the Subarus are 4-wheel drive. You can get the Mitsubishi ASX in 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, but the MG is only 2-wheel drive. And I think for the farmers market, the Subaru is perfect.
This is the one.
Right, let's bang out some positives about this car. Number 1, air conditioning, absolutely incredible. I am still freezing my Rastafarian ninnies off.
Number 2, build quality. It's got to
Build
be
quality.
solid.
Perfect. Number 3, power performance, engine performance for the diesel.
Yeah, the engine is the strongest easily out of all 3. Easily.
Yeah, definitely. Space, plenty of it.
Yeah, looks pretty good. 5 seats, not too bad.
Seats are probably second place out of all 3.
Yeah, they're not too bad, are they?
Right.
They're good supportive seats and seem to do the job.
Yeah, they definitely support you. Right, negatives. Head unit looks weird.
And the button's in the wrong place.
And the button's in the wrong place.
Other
Handbrake's well annoying.
So that's 2 negatives. Number 3.
Number 3 is price. It's expensive.
Definitely.
So to conclude with the Subaru XV, they're great if you like them.
I think if you are a Subaru person, a Subaru farmer, should we say,
Yeah.
this is the only one you're going to choose. I think this is going to last the longest.
Yeah.
It's going to be going in 5 years' time without missing a beat.
Yeah.
I think this is probably the puppy. It's definitely going to be the best off-road. Overall, I think it's the most rugged. The build quality on the interior, for me, it doesn't tick the boxes. But if you are a farmer, you wouldn't even entertain it. You wouldn't even entertain having anything else. So, Subaru.
Right, so next, MG GS. We were very sceptical about this thing when we first picked it up. We were like, MG? They don't even make cars anymore.
Yeah.
But the brand was relaunched 6 years ago by the Chinese. And to be brutally honest, they've done a bloody good job.
I
am well impressed.
They've smashed it, haven't they?
They have.
Out of the ballpark.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, they only make it in a two-wheel drive, like we've mentioned probably quite a few times already, and I can't drive it. But it handles nice. The seats are way more comfortable.
Out of the test, these are the best seats on test.
Yeah, definitely. The engine, not so much.
Well, they claim it's 166 horsepower.
There's no way this is more powerful than that Scooby.
But I can't see it. I cannot see it.
No way.
It's got all the other mod cons that you can always got electric windows. You're not on the keep fits, which is kind of what I was expecting, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
What else we got in here? We have USB auxiliary lead. The cup holders are in a good place. It's all sensible, to be honest. There's nothing really horrendous. There's nothing offensive in here.
You can't really feel that it's turboed.
Yeah, it's a funny old thing. But in fairness, this is not the kind of driving car that you're going to be hooning. So maybe it's not such a down point at the engines. Slightly less power. I don't know, it depends what kind of driving you're going to do, but I think most people that are going to buy this are going to have two kids in the back and just cruising back and forth doing a school run.
Yeah. And I think for that, it's pretty good. Like, the plastic's probably going to be quite durable.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard wearing. Now, when we first got in this car, we weren't expecting a lot. I've got to say, we really weren't expecting a lot. We climbed in here, we turned on the stereo, we turned it up, and we were blown away.
Yeah.
It is.
Just to put it in perspective, it's better than the Range Rover Sport, and that costs £65,000.
The stereo on this is just phenomenal for the money.
It is really
absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. So MG, I don't know what you've done there, but
well done.
Well done. Excellent. It's got a rear view camera as standard, which is nice. The sat nav, I think it's got a sat nav built in. So, positives and negatives on this car. Number one, for me, the biggest positive, the stereo is mental.
Yeah, right, that's one. Number two, seats.
Seats are good.
Right, number three.
Build quality seems pretty good, actually.
Yeah, and again, I just want to really make it clear that we were so sceptical about this thing to start with, and we are so impressed with it.
Well impressed
with it, yeah. Okay, so that's three. Number four. Handling, considering you'd expect it to be a bit. It's better steering feel than the Subaru. Better steering, and you know what, the gearbox as well. Yeah. I like the gearbox. Clutch is a bit different, but I think once you get used to it, it's different. For an extra 1,500 quid, you could have an automatic, which is a double clutch system as well. Yeah. Now, I think overall, this is a banging car. The only thing that really lets it down is the engine. And that's about the only bad point I can think of it, really. So out of 5 possible negative things that we wanted to award for each of the cars, we can only think of one, really, and that's the engine's disappointing. Yeah. Is it really? But it's not that it's unlivable. You could live with it, and you would get used to it. But you compare this to the Subaru, and they're worlds apart. That's the trouble. Absolutely. That is the trouble with it. I think if you just got in this car and drove it, you'd be happy as Larry all day. Yeah. When you drive the Subaru back to back with this, that's when you start to think, oh my god, this thing is underpowered. Yeah. But overall, I'm pretty impressed. Yeah, I'm impressed as well. Wicked job, MG. Jumped into the ASX crossover. 115 brake horsepower and 154 newton meters of torque, I think it was. Right, so on paper, this is the worst engine of the lot. But I have to say, I'm actually quite impressed with it. Yeah, definitely. I think the engine is actually the best one to live with on the daily. I think the Subaru might get you in trouble. What you get with this is exactly what you're expecting to get. Solid, relatively powerful, comfortable, which we'll get onto in a minute. Fairly good value for money. It's the middle of the range, isn't it? Yeah. So. Briefly mentioned comfortable. These are the worst seats out of all 3 of them. Yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt. They're comfortable for about 30 seconds, and then they're not. They're the best looking seats out there. They don't really support you much. So if you go around the corner fast, you're going to end up with your head in the passenger's lap. Could work in your favour, depending on who you've got as a passenger. Did you say earlier that the handbrake you thought looked a bit cheap?
No, that was in the Subaru. But this also, now you mention it, it's a bit cheap.
Yeah, isn't it?
Also, oh my god, this really frustrates me in this car. The don't put your drink in the drink cup sign.
Yeah.
What's that about? Come on, Mitsubishi, sort it out.
So 5 positives and 5 negatives about this car. In first place in the positives, build quality.
Yeah, I think it's really, really well built. I think it's going to last. I'm not sure it's as rugged as the Subaru, but it's a different thing. That's a real farmer's car.
Yeah.
This is a car that you could live with every single day, and most people aren't getting in and out of these things with muddy wellies from a ploughed field.
Yeah.
So I think this will live up to the withstand all of the abuse it needs to take with kids and whatever in the back. I think the build quality is excellent.
Good.
So
Number two,
the overall package on the engine, gearbox, and clutch. I think it suits the car best of all of them.
Yeah.
I think the Subaru might be a little bit overpowered. I think that the MG is massively underpowered, and I think this fits perfectly in the range.
Completely agree with you. Right, third positive. Price? It's not that.
Yeah, well, it's not that much more than the MG, is it?
The
this
MG,
one?
Yeah. It's what, is it £5 more, something like that?
Yeah, I think it's £5.
It's not really a great deal of money, is it?
When you're talking for 20 grand or 15 grand, £5 is nothing, is it?
Yeah, it's not.
So, and I'm sure if you really, really went into the dealer and said, look, mate, I want it for that £5 cheaper,
Yeah.
they're probably going to say,
Yeah, right.
go on in.
Right, what number are we on now? We up to number 4 yet?
Yeah, number 4 next.
Number 4 next. What stands out the most to me? Storage. It's good. Big cubby holes. Cup holders that you're not allowed to put your cups in. Yeah, I'm going to go with storage for number 4.
This one.
In 5th place, hot body. Perfect. Except for the switch is in an awkward place.
Yeah, what a stupid place to put a switch. 5 negatives about the ASX crossover from Mitsubishi.
Head unit's
First
nowhere
thing,
near as good.
stereo.
Yeah.
This doesn't even have, well, it doesn't even have a screen really. This is like something out of a car that you would have bought 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I think that's a massive, massive down point. There's no excuse for that.
No, not now. This is due a facelift though, so I imagine it'll have a decent head unit in it then.
Well, for this car on test, there's no excuse.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, fair point.
bad Mitsubishi.
Negative number 2, the seats are really uncomfortable and there's no support at all.
Yeah, not very good at all.
Is there any more negatives? Just bear in mind we didn't only give the MG like 1 negative.
Yeah, yeah.
So, all around then, this is probably the car that does the job the best.
I think this is the best all-round car of all the 3.
But, do you think it's the winner?
I'm not sure it's the winner. Quick test just to see which one has the best boot, size-wise, what you can lift in. I have noticed that actually this one has a nice flat boot, which is quite handy. A bit of a lip on this one and a little bit of a lip on that one. The Subaru has the biggest lip though, so you can't just slide stuff in. So I think the MG wins on that point before we even lift any bags in. So
The biggest bag ever known to man is Richie's motocross gear bag, which is ridiculously heavy. Okay, so bad points the tailgate you bang your head on.
if you're tall,
Does that go in? That goes in.
voila. So
Good.
plus,
Fits.
well done. Good.
So it fits in the GS. Fits in the Subaru really, really easily, doesn't it?
That's nice.
So the Subaru boot's much bigger and better.
Yeah,
You want to take a break or can you manage to lift it one more time?
I can do it. This is why I need to go to the gym more. I think it's going in there. Ready?
Yeah. Is there more room in that
Close,
than the Scooby?
close. Just.
Just about.
I think it goes in the Subaru the best. Okay, so we've just got back to Nathaniel Cars. These are the guys that lent us the cars for the day to test. We're just going to have a little conclusion, have a little chat, cup of tea. They've got biscuits, so We're well away.
Yeah, we're absolutely fine. Each car has its own really strong point, doesn't it? The MG, like you rightly said, the stereo and just the overall sort of feel of it.
And it's different, you don't see many of them.
No, you don't.
You don't see many of them.
But is that the same as like rare wheels being more expensive? Is it because they're rare or because they're not worth having? And I really do think that GS is a car worth having if you need that kind of car.
Yeah, each one of these cars has benefits in different places, doesn't it? If you're a farmer, you would definitely have the Forester. If you don't want to, not the Forester, sorry, the
XV.
The XV.
They still make the Forester. It's something completely different now.
Yeah, so the XV. if you're a farmer, you would have that because you could go in that with your wellies on and probably hose it out and it would be fine.
And the pedals are quite far apart, so you could still drive it in boots, like big work boots.
So you would definitely have that. If you just wanted an all-round car to kind of run back and forth in and you didn't have to do lots of miles, you'd probably have the ASX because the seats would drive you mad if you had to go a long way. And if you just want a good, cheap car that's going to do the job and probably withstand the abuse in two-wheel drive, you'd probably have the MG.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'd love to disagree with you, but I can't because I think you're absolutely right.
And it's hard to choose the best one of the three.
Well,
because they're so different.
I've got a perfect way of deciphering which one isn't the best. Look at that. That's a horrible key. Compared to these two, this one you don't even have to put in the ignition. And that one's just your normal standard key.
So are we seriously going to decide which car is the best?
Why the hell not?
On the keys.
Look at this. Focus camera.
So that one's out. Forester's out. That leaves us with the Mitsubishi and the MG, and I think the best way to decide this.
What, we're choosing a winner based on this pick? I want it to be the MG.
Do you really? I'll give you a clue, it's this one if you want the MG. Hey,
the MG wins.
It's very hard to choose a winner on this in this category because all these cars are so different.
Completely different.
If you're a farmer, you wouldn't entertain the idea of the other two. I think the overall all-rounder car is the ASX. And I think just because of the surprise of it and actually how good it really is, the MG. So overall, we'll say the MG wins. I win.
No, I haven't stalled. That's start-stop, bud.
When you come off that clutch, what happens?
What do you mean?
Let's see.
If I come off the clutch, it's in gear. It's not going to work.
It's stalled!
Nah, bud!
It's stalled!
Stop!
It's stalled! Did you have to press the button?
No!
Yes, you had to press the button!
Not having it! Not having it! Oh, he's done it again.
Can he bump it? No, he can't bump it. Any room at all?
It's only an Astra, sweetheart, come on.
Are you serious? That is the most mental air conditioning unit I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
Yeah, man. You are a big, sexy hunk of steamness today, Craigie.
I am so hot, man.
I don't know how you're so hot. I'm freezing. There might be trees in the road and stuff.
Oh, GoPro.
GoPro stay on.
I don't know.
It's easier to talk about this one than the other one.
It's because we like it.